So, the topic of today's episode was inspired by a question that came from one of our clients inside of the Live Your Yes Life Facebook group. And the question she asked was around how do you stay on track with your dreams when, the kids have been sick or life is just really busy? Like, how do you keep going? And I thought this was a great question because I get this question quite often. And I also want to share with you guys some of my personal experience because I truly do feel like I brought my dream to life in the middle of a chaos storm. And I want to share with you a little bit about how I did that as well. So, first of all, you guys, welcome to the Live Your Yes Life podcast. I'm Lisa. I will be your co host today. And on the Live Your Yes Life podcast, we share channeled thoughts, discussion, and interviews on what it takes for you to go from dreaming and wishing to actively living your yes life. And you guys, if you're not already inside of our Facebook group, I'm going to link it below. You definitely want to get into the group and join us. There is so much happening inside this group. So we've been doing something called Free Coaching Friday, where we allow you to post a coaching question and then we'll give you a little coaching right inside the chat, but we'll also pick one person to receive a free one-on-one coaching session with one of the coaches on the Rise Leadership Circle team, and also to just get some support from us. So there's a lot happening inside of this group. You definitely want to be inside for inspiration and information. If you are someone who also runs a business or you've got something going on the side, you can promote your business. We do something called Giving Tuesday, where you can actually share your promotions. You'll make friends inside the group. And there's just so much, you guys. Once you join the group, you're also going to receive a free gift from Kaela and I. It is a private podcast workshop series we created called How to Get What You Want. And we give you the step-by-step of how to bring your dreams to life. So if you're not already, click the link, come and join us. I'm only sharing a fraction of what happens in there. And you might have heard us saying this previously as well, but we are focusing all of our goodies, all of our value, all of our attention inside of this free Facebook community. You are not going to see us on every single social media channel this year. We really had a desire to make a bigger impact. And the way that we feel that we can do this right now this year is by narrowing our focus and really be, instead of sprinkling our energy in a million places, it's really showing up there. So I would love it if you would come and join us. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's session. So first off, let's just talk about, your dream. The thing that you really want to bring to life. This could be big or small. This might be like you feel like you want a whole new career, or you're at a stage in life where what you're doing just doesn't feel like it's resonating. You're probably someone who's on a personal growth path if you're listening to this, and you've probably had a lot of growth over the last several years, and you might be feeling like now is the time to make a big shift. And yet, maybe you feel like you're getting sidetracked by things that are getting in the way, by circumstances that, that's happening. Like the kids are getting sick if you're a mom, or, some of you might be in that sandwich generation where you're also taking care of aging parents. This was me, and this was the place that I was really building my dream life in. So I totally get it. And let's just jump in there. I want to share a little bit about my story with you guys. So when I decided that it was time to make a shift, I had another business at the time. I was living in another city, and I was just really feeling ready for a change. Like, I knew it in my soul that it was time to make a change. I didn't know for sure what that change was yet. I didn't exactly know all the details. It starts as like that little niggle in your soul and you can't quiet it. So if you know what I'm talking about. And at the time, we had just gone through really saving our company from going through some big financial challenges. I had worked really, really hard in the several years prior to selling it to just getting things back on track. And I was super proud of what we had done, and it was a lot of hard work, but it truly left me feeling pretty burnt out at the end. And also during that time period, as we were just working really hard, I still had, Kaela was in college, my son was still in high school, and my mom had become terminally ill. Now, my mom was living 4 hours away, and I fortunately was at the place in my business where I was able to take a good amount of time away. So I was able to come home almost every weekend and to just help support in that caregiver role for her. And I'm so grateful that I could do that. And yet it was a really stressful time. I was always on, so to speak. I was traveling between two places. I was always in the car. When I was at work, I was, busy solving challenges and problems and just being focused at work. And I was navigating a new relationship. My son was getting ready to leave for college. I was about to become an empty nester. It was just like, there was always something happening. And I didn't think it would be possible to sell my business. Like, I had never at that time built it really thinking about being able to sell it. I know that there are a lot of people who start businesses with the intention of, building it, growing it. That's the part they love, and then selling. And that wasn't me. Like, I really thought like I would just stay there forever. So in some ways, it was kind of a surprise when I felt called for a change, because I loved it. Like, I loved so much about it. I didn't leave it because I hated it by any means. And I had to sit with that for a little bit. And then when I knew, right? And so the first thing I did was I had to just simply ask a question. I had to ask for help. And so I think the first person I talked to was probably my attorney at the time. And I just said, hey, is my business in a place where it's viable to make a sale right now? Who can help me determine what this looks like? And that was just the first step. So even though life was crazy, even though I was busy, he was able to put me in touch with the person who could help answer that question. And so I took that step and I began to work with this person. And then I took another step and I worked with my accountant and had them do all the things they had to do, right? And then the next step and the next step. And basically what I'm saying with this is that when you have a calling that it's time to pursue a different dream, or the dream that's been on your heart, or a different direction, whatever it might be for you, you've got to listen to that inner voice. If it's been with you for a while and it's getting louder and louder, just take one step. Have one conversation. I'm sure that you don't know how to bring it all to life. I did not know how. All I knew to do was to ask one question. And when I got that answer, I knew the next question to ask. And so it certainly wasn't instant, right? It was a period. It probably was like a 1-year time period of like all of these pieces having to come together and having to take step after step. At that point, I knew I was ready to make a move, and I wanted to come back home. I wanted to be close to my mom so I could be here to care for her, right? So I had to just take a step in that direction. Basically, what I'm saying is that it wasn't that life slowed down. It was just that I took one action one day at a time. I didn't figure it all out. I just took the next right step. And I have discovered that that truly is the key to everything that we want to bring to life. So know that like if you're moving through this chaotic season, if you've had just a lot of stuff happening, all you really need to do is say, can I take just one step today? What's the one thing I know to do today? Is it one conversation? Is it one reach out to someone to have a conversation about something? Is it me making one post or one offer? Like however you might be bringing your dream to life, is just to take that one step. And that's all you need to know. And can you just trust it? I knew at that time too that I needed to pay off personal debt. I had a bit of credit card debt I wanted to make sure was gone before I sold the business. And so during that year, that was another thing that I did. And the way that I did it was just one day at a time. I wrote down my goals, and then every single week I made progress toward those goals and I celebrated it. And that was it. It was so simple. It didn't take a ton of time. I didn't know the complete how, right? Just one day at a time. So I hope this encourages you. And there was a lot of, I will tell you, it was not just like busy and it wasn't just time stress, but there was a lot of emotional stress that was happening too. A lot of emotions I need to process about leaving my business that I love so much, leaving the community I was in, becoming an empty nester as my youngest was leaving for college. I mean, so much was happening. And if you're in a space of really navigating a lot of tender emotions, we don't want to force something to happen, right? We don't want to just push through and try to make something happen in 30 days. Really, the more that you can release the timing, the faster you'll go. And I was having a conversation yesterday with one of our mastermind clients about this, she was really starting to feel lit up about something. We're going to be talking more about this to come, but one of the things that I think is so crucially important if you want to bring your dreams to life is to focus on what brings you joy? What lights you up? I also have people ask me a lot, or they'll say to me a lot, like, I don't know what I want. And the place I usually start with that is, okay, what brings you joy? Just tell me one thing that you love to talk about. What's one thing that feels exciting for you right now today? And just follow it. That is the way the universe communicates with us. It drops breadcrumbs. You guys know I've talked about this before, and I'll keep talking about it, because here's the thing, it's not so easy to trust that, because it doesn't always make logical sense. If I just pursue what brings me joy, let's just say like reading is what brings you joy, and you just go pursue reading, you're like, how is that going to bring my dream to life? Like, I need to be in action. Okay, well, what do you love to read about? Let's start there. What is it that you love about reading? What types of books? What subject matters light you up? These are all clues to perhaps your next right direction. So start there. Start with what brings you joy and make sure that you're prioritizing that, because that is going to inform your how. So like my client asked me, who is moving through this, she's like, the kids have been really sick. We've had all of this stuff happening. Life has been really chaotic. How do I stay focused? I feel like I can't focus on my dream. I would also direct her back. So what's the next thing you need to do? And what brings you joy? What is one thing you can do that is in the direction of your joy? Because that is going to connect you back to your intuition. So our logic mind is the part of us that is worried and scared and freaking out and wants to always tell us the worst case scenario and all the things that are going to go wrong. And the logic mind also is that voice within you that's like, how? I need to know how to bring this to life. I need to know steps 1 through 10 immediately, or I can't take action. But your intuitive mind doesn't work that way. Your inner wisdom is always going to be the fastest path to where you want to go. And one of the easiest ways, you guys, to access that is to simply focus on your joy. Focus on what lights you up. Just take a little bit of time to sit with that. So yesterday, as I mentioned, I was working with this client, and so she was having this, we'll call it a download of just like, I can see like, this is the thing that I really want to bring to life in my business. I just don't know how to get there. And I feel like I need to know how to monetize it. And I need to know how to, really bring this thing to life. And I was like, great, we can get there. But the first thing to do is actually just go and be in the joy with this idea that's come for you. Like, go follow that thread of joy and see where it leads you. Instead of trying to figure out today how you're going to market it and monetize it and who your clients are going to be, just take a little bit of time. Get that clarity, be in the joy of it, have conversations about it, see who you feel led to have a conversation with. See what ideas come through as you go out for a walk in nature, if that's your thing. Like, spend some time letting your inner wisdom show you, because it always will. It will lead you on the right path every single time. So I'll show you how that played out for me. So as I mentioned, I was processing a whole bunch of emotions, and the thing that was lighting me up at the time when I sold my business, the first thing I did was I partnered with a nutrition company, and I followed that path of supporting people to improve their health, to lose weight, to just kind of worked within that realm for a little bit, because that was the thing I was interested in my life at the time. And so I had already taken a life coach training several years before within my business. I loved it. I loved it. I knew I wanted to do it someday, but in the emotional state that I was in, I wasn't ready to jump into that. Like, I didn't quite have access to this career path yet. And so obviously there was so much more that was shifting and changing within me. I couldn't have seen it, right? I couldn't have predicted the way this was going to unfold. All I could do was take a step in what felt right at the time. And through taking that step, right, eventually I had more clarity. I loved working with people. I loved coaching them. I was on my own health journey. You guys know I went through like a massive burnout at the end of selling my business. All of that stress caught up with me, and I had to go on this massive healing journey, and that led me into wanting to coach in a deeper way. So I added a health coaching certificate, got some mastery training in life coaching, and I just kept following whatever that path was that was lighting me up. And then eventually I left the nutrition piece side of it because all of my clients ended up being entrepreneurs, and we started off health coaching, but I was working with them on their business and their life and their relationships and like things that were happening. And I just realized like, okay, this is actually where I'm supposed to be. I just had to get there breadcrumb by breadcrumb by breadcrumb, right? Even though years before I knew I loved this journey, but life led me here, step by step by step. And then eventually, a couple of years into this journey, is when Kaela got her certification. She started her business. And then when the time was right, we were guided to join forces. And here we are 5 years later. I think we're going, are we in our 6th year? I don't know. 5 years later, here we are. And I could have never, ever, ever predicted that this would be the path I would take. Yet, when I look back, of course, I received the skills I needed for my own healing, for the healing that I share with my clients, for, every step of the journey. But if we're constantly questioning it and doubting it and trying to logic our way and trying to think that we have to follow someone else's step-by-step plan of how to get there, we actually slow down the process. So this is always our highest timeline, in my opinion, when we follow that thing within us that is bringing us joy and lighting us up. And don't worry if the thing that's lighting you up right now doesn't become your path forever. We're meant to keep evolving and changing. So I hope this supported you today. If you are moving through a season of busy and stress and all kinds of stuff that is going on, just know that this is a safe space. Keep coming back. We're here to be in your corner and we'll continue to cheer you on. We have some really exciting things coming up to support you. And a little bit of a sneak peek. We have I don't know if I can release it yet, but we've got something really exciting coming up. Keep listening in the next couple of weeks that you are definitely going to want to plug into for free. And it's really going to help you tap into your joy in a big way. So you guys, we are just in closing. I'll share with you, I love me a little bit of numerology. I love understanding the vibration of numbers and the study of it. And it just helps me, it makes life make sense to me. So this is an 8 universal year. And this is a year, you guys, of leadership, stepping into your self-leadership, right? That CEO role. It can be a really powerful year for attracting wealth and a lot of exciting things coming your way. So this is the time to really focus on those dreams. If you think back, so we all run on 9-year cycles. I want you to think back on what you began in 2017. And this is the year where whatever was beginning there in a positive way, or maybe there was something around your dream, the energy is here to help you start to see that traction, to step into that leadership role. And so I hope this inspires you to take action. When I look back at 2017, I'm like, of course, this is where I was beginning this journey of okay, yes, I'm just fully in on coaching. This is what I'm doing and how it's guided me here. So have a beautiful rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you inside the Live Your Yes Life Facebook group. You guys, if someone needs to hear this episode, please share it. Please share it with a friend. Have them take a listen, invite them to join you over in the free group. And as always, make sure that you like this, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And we love hearing from you. So send us a message. Let us know if there is a topic you'd like to hear us speak into, or if you have feedback. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time.